even told me. Well, I guess since they can't hear us on stream, anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump back up and find out if we're supposed to be heard or not.
Yeah, I was gonna say, might as well just talk some smack while we're in here.
Oh wait, are we? I think we're on. Yeah, we're on. Hey everybody. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the ESDA Spring Open 2026. Sorry for the technical difficulties. We're just trying to work everything out here as we go. So yeah, welcome to the ESDA 2026 Open. My name is Trepidemic. I'll be guiding you along today with my co-host, Faust. Faust, how you doing?
I am great, and welcome again to the ESDA Open. The first event of the season. We are getting it rolling. We are trying to have a great time today. We're going to put on a great show for you guys and introduce you all who don't know to the wonderful world of drifting.
Yeah, wonderful world it is indeed. Many things to know, many things to see, and it is going to be an absolute blast as these drivers are getting their qualifying runs underway. For those of you who are looking at the stream right now and maybe be a little bit confused, there is obviously some telemetry going on at the bottom of your screen. We are running with a automated system courtesy of the guys over at Drift League. So a big shout out to them. We're helping test out some new software they've got going on, where it kind of helps automate some of the judging stuff going on in our qualifying runs here. So tag along with us, experience that. It's going to be a very interesting thing to see. So far, it looks like it's a pretty neat little system. As we've got Punyapat, probably going to butcher a lot of names here, so don't mind that. But Punyapat pulling up to the line in the Mustang RTR.
And we are expecting a barn burner.
Hopefully a barn burner here. Up as he shuts it down immediately. So Faust with the commentator's curse jumping in there.
Apologies to all drivers that have been wronged by the commentator's curse. But yes, in a car absolutely. Like that, you kind of expect some big angle, especially out of the Mustangs, knowing that they are known and notorious for being unruly to drive. If you choose to bring a Mustang to the competition, we are expecting you to come out with some heat. I want to see all angle, all style, and a lot of tire smoke.
Yeah, if there's one thing these Mustangs are good at, it is smoking those tires. So better see a little bit of smoke off of that car here as we go through the start chicane again. We'll see what Punyapat can do this time, bringing it around here and initiating in. Very weird initiation, but it looks like he is going to make that. Oh, and he shuts the car down again. So it looks like maybe some trouble's going on there for Punyapat, but that's another 0 on the board there. Possibly looking at a double incomplete. Yep, looks like that is going to be a double 0 there for Punyapat, unfortunately.
And from the looks of it, just from my unrefined eye, it appears that Punyapat was having a lot of gearing issues. He was really low in the RPMs as he came through that chicane, jumped into second, and just stayed there and could not roast off the tires.
Yeah, definitely something going on. Not able to keep that car lit off. I think you're probably right on the money about that whole gearing thing. Looks like the car just stalling out. So, but now we've got Matsumoto whipping the S14.
Big very nice initiation, snapping across that first inside touch and go, barely filling that outside zone, then coming around in the third outside zone and fourth. Those right side outside zones, he seems to be having a little bit of issue staying in. As I say that, he fills that last zone and goes into the final zone against the wall and just backs her in. Starts wavering a little bit, but he backed it in. And a 47.7 looks like it's going to be his score for that first run. Anything to add?
Not definitely just watching as things go on here. So, oh, wait a minute. Looks like we have a different driver up to the line here. Maybe I missed something.
I don't think he knows what's going on here.
Yeah, I don't think that we're supposed to be on the next driver yet. I believe the other. Yep, here we go. Okay.
So we most certainly are not supposed to be on the next driver, but from the looks of it, he is putting down a heater. Either way, he said, I got a fire in my tank and I want to put track. Oh.
Here we go. Ito coming back up to the line now.
That got me a little excited to see his run coming up now.
Hey, jumping the gun a little bit. He'll have to wait until Ito puts down the second run here. Now, it's not exactly uncommon. Other comps do have split runs in qualifying, but now Ito doing that second run here initiates in the S14. Very nice on that inside clip, now bringing it around to that first outside zone, right out to the track edge. Transitioning through to the second. Could have been a little bit deeper there, and the score is going to reflect that. Now into the third, very nicely done, but same deal. Grabs that inside clip pretty much perfectly, and now into that outside zone there. Came out a little bit early. The automated scoring, not going to be the biggest fan of that, but grabbing those inner clips right where he needs to. Coming up to that last outside zone along the wall. And, oh, unfortunately, contact into the wall. That is going to still be a score on the board by the looks of it, unless we are going to input a 0 on there. And, yep, there it is. So a 0 on the board for that. Unfortunately, just hitting the wall.
But sometimes you gotta really risk it for the biscuit, especially with this judging system. You gotta put it all out there on the line. You cannot hold back if you want to be in the show. As we have So Yoon pull up to the line in her new Z, or in the new Z. Let's see what So Yoon can put down. Big hesitation on initiation, but that was a good flick in, filling all of that second outside zone, coming into outside zone 3 and just backing it in through 4, all the way in the zone, hitting that inside clip, coming out to 5 and pushing it. Just got some heat in the car, got some grip in the car, and is moving with it. Third gear on the wall for most of the way and just wraps it around for a 78.6. Good job, So Yoon.
Yeah, definitely a good first run to put on the board there. Of course, a couple of issues on some of those inside clips. Clean that up. Going to be seeing our first 80s run of the day here. As Yoon comes back up to the line now. And that very nice 400Z. I must say, this is probably my favorite body on the Zs. A little bit unfortunate that they didn't change literally anything else from the 370, but here we go. As Yoon coming out of that gate, initiates in with a very nice flick, grabs that inside clip number 1 this time, bringing it out to that outside zone, very nicely filled, transition to outer zone 2, yeah, perfect, look at that. Could have been a little bit earlier in outside zone 3, but now grabs inside clip 2, bringing it to outer 4. Again, a little bit late coming into the zone, but grabbing inside clip 3, which is going to make up from that first run. And now, some issues in outer zone 5. Transitions out to that wall, and a little bit of a bobble on angle, but making it work across that line.
The angle that So Yoon was putting down was magical. If So Yoon was able to hold that together a little bit more and be a little bit more fluid throughout that whole run, that would have been the run. That would have been the run to beat.
Yeah, technically still is one of the runs to beat there. Of course, with us only being a little bit into qualifying, we got a ways to go here yet. So we've got, looks like Kazuki coming up to the line in the A80. Very nice car to be maneuvering around this course.
And just a side note, a lot of drivers in a lot of competitions seem to have a lot of problems really getting their setup dialed in on that A80. So it's going to be interesting to see if he's got that magic secret sauce for this car to really put the doors down as he is staged up and ready to go, coming off through that start chicane. Little lackluster, but he seems to be rolling in. Big tip in, a little far off of that inside clip, but he wraps it around, fills that whole second outside zone into third, just touching it. And fourth, he hits right on the edge, goes inside on that inside clip as he comes in through the last set of inside clips into that outside zone hanging it out a little long, but he's getting right out to the wall and wrapping that wing around the wall. Got a little too close, and now they fall.
Yeah, definitely flirting with disaster going into that wall zone, and unfortunately, it's not going to pay out there for Kazuki. But you know what? The good news is you've got a second run, so there's always a chance to improve off of that 0 yet.
And he 100% looked like he had that car right where he wanted it for most of that run.
Absolutely. Is Kazuki now here in the chicane, goes on through, and that A80 Supra initiates in with a very nice, smooth initiation, grabs that inside clip, but the scoring looks like not fully picking it up. Maybe a little bit of confusion with the car there. A lot of track edge, almost fully exceeding the track edge there with this run, but it looks like still holding it together, able to salvage something here. Grabs that inside clip, there you go, into outside zone number 5, now transitioning into the part that bit him last time. And looks like probably playing it a little bit safe just to get that score on the board. Oh, and still into the wall goes Kazuki. Oh, no. Unfortunately, I think that's going to be another 0. That's now wall victim number 3. Well, technically still number 2, but that's the 3rd run to fall victim to that wall for Kazuki.
He seemed a little out of sorts that whole run from initiation all the way through. He was just a little too timid, it seemed. He didn't come in with enough swagger.
No, it almost looks like maybe a little bit of nerves to work off there for Kazuki. But you know what? It's the Open. It happens. Bring your A game to the next one when you sign up and throw down even harder than you did here.
And hopefully all of the little banter that we have back and forth is just that extra little bit of motivation to come out and prove everybody wrong next time, because I really want to see that A80 up on the box.
Oh, and actually it looks like there is a score on the board for Kazuki by what I'm looking at here. It's going to be a 41.91. So
it did look like he made it.
Give him a score there yet.
He hit the wall and made it over the line before he fully spun, so technically that can be judged.
Yep, you just got to clean that up and make sure not to do that when it comes to battles. So long as you make it there. Got to make it there first in order to not do it.
And it seems like with the small sample size that we have, both Eito and Kazuki have been having slight difficulties on this track. I don't know if it's the speed. I don't know if it's the driving style. I don't know if it's the clips. But there has been something special about this course that will either lead to a great show or disaster for the drivers when it comes time for tandem battles later on in the day.
Yeah, well, I think one of the things we need to talk about as well while we're waiting for Rudy to come up to the line here, just to mention for the folks who are watching along at home, every driver who is competing here in ESDA this season, these guys only get 1 hour to drive on the track prior to us jumping into qualifying. So it's really going to be one of those things where if you're a capable driver, you're going to adapt no problem. For some, though, maybe a little bit more difficult to get ready to send your car down the track for the first time and qualify within an hour of even getting the access to the track. Very challenging thing to do indeed.
Yeah, but at the same time, it does help drivers build up some flexibility and adaptability as we send Rudy off through the start chicane. He does a really timid tip-in, but hits that inside clip. Little shaky coming out to that first outside zone, hitting the second outside zone, filling all of that third outside zone. Just in on the cone, filling that fourth outside zone, hitting that last inside clip into the fifth outside zone. Little later in that outside zone, but he got there, filling that last outside zone. Just that could have been a hair deeper, but he was in there the whole way.
Yeah, definitely a couple of things to improve upon there. Obviously, the inner clips look like not getting picked up, so could definitely put the car in the right position for those. Outside zone 5, a little bit of an issue getting into that zone. Hopefully, clean it up for the next one.
But he's got a
As we
score
get
on the
Rudy
board
back
at least.
into the box here. Up through the start chicane in that Rocket Bunny Nissan Silvia S15. Initiating in. Nice little flick into the angle. Does pick up inside clip number 1 on this run. Now does exceed the track edge by 1 tire there and does it again on outside zone number 2. However, still making it happen here as outside zone 3 does manage to keep it on the track. Grabs inside clip number 2. Looks like a little bit of deduction going on in outside zone 4 and not fully grabbing inside clip 3, but is starting to recover for outside zone 5. Going into the wall here now, keeping the car nice and fluid. And the score is going to come in at a 42.16 for that run.
And that was... I don't know how to explain this. That was a really timid run. He had moments where he was coming out and looking like he was just throwing caution to the wind, but that was a really timid run.
Well, one of the things as well with these the S chassis is that they are one of the, I would say, harder chassis to handle on a course like this, just because of how snappy they are with their steering. The S15 is actually one of my weapons of choice whenever I compete, and they are a very, very tricky car to maintain certain kinds of corners with, and this track, no exception, definitely a difficult one. But to put a score on the board either way, obviously you're doing something right.
Oh, big time. He definitely put down a good score. He put down a good qualifying line. And as a person who is more inclined to competing in my weapon of choice, the Mustang, I understand the snappiness of the S chassis, but at the same time, it feels just like he was not letting it snap. He was
all right. Welcome to Drift League.
In this video, trustful of the car there. If I had to put it into words, could have let the car do a little bit more of the work there, but looks like just trying to make up for maybe some slight issues with his own mindset there on handling the car. Have to see what happens in battles.
As we get Kerr to the line, this is going to be interesting. This is that one that I've been waiting on. Let's see if he can come out and put something different in his BMW. Big tip in, fills that first inside clip into the outside zone, fills that quite nicely. Second outside zone was a little lax. Third outside zone, he barely got into it and was late at that. Didn't even really do much in that fourth outside zone short of touching it.
Ooh.
So far extended that fifth outside zone, and into the last outside zone, it's just a 0.
Yeah, unfortunately, going 3 tires off, possibly even 4 tires off into outside zone. I believe it was number 4. Number 5, I believe it was. Definitely not a great start, but you've got a second run, so shake off those nerves, bring it back to the line, see what you can do for the second time.
And those BMWs, the M chassis, especially the E36, is one of the most beautiful BMWs in my opinion.
Yeah, the E36, a very popular chassis is now. We do have Kamal through the line here. Initiates in with a very nice snap to angle. Grabs that inside clip absolutely perfectly. Now out to outside zone number 1. A little bit of an issue there, but does manage to make it work. Could have been a little bit deeper in 2. Outside zone number 3, it looks like potentially a little bit of line issue going into there. Does not grab inside clip number 2, but grabs majority of outside zone number 4 and perfectly on inside clip number 3. Still some more line issue going through outside zone number 5, but did not zero it out this time as he goes into the wall zone. And very, very shallow on angle, but does manage to keep up the speed and grab majority of that zone. Going to put down a 32.29 on that run. Not the best, definitely not the best, but also better than a 0.
And he's got a score on the board, which a lot of drivers will be having, or seem to be having, a lot of difficulty with. We're going to see how many zeros we get throughout the day just from pushing too hard or not pushing hard enough.
As we wait for the next driver to get to the line here, I believe next up we should have Vincent Octavianus.
And we are going to have to see what Octavianus can put down for us as he pulls to the line in his S15. No, that's Blake pulling to the line. Looks like we have Blake March next in
yeah, it looks like maybe Vincent didn't make it.
As Blake comes in, big tip in on initiation, just hanging it all out there. Leaves that first outside zone a little early, rides the outside or the inside edge of outside zone 2, but fills inside zone or outside zone 3 as he clips inside 2. Really sideswipes that cone on inside clip 3 as he comes into that last outside zone, just kind of pushing it. It looks like he is fighting to keep that car in the zone.
Yeah, definitely a couple of issues with those outside zones. Just not keeping the car exactly where it's got to be. However, is managing to complete that run, of course.
It really did look like he was just fighting to keep the car in the zone. That thing might be a little bit too wicked up for him.
It's entirely possible as we get ready for run number 2 here for Blake March. Through that start chicane. Get that nice big flick in the angle again this time. Grabs that inside clip number 1 perfectly. Out to outside zone number 1. Right out to the track edge. Very nicely done. A little bit deeper into 2 this time. It's exactly what you need to see. And right to the outside edge of outer zone 3 as well. Looks like the system not picking up inside clip number 2 there. Oh, way inside on inside clip number 3. Grabs all of outside zone number 5 now into that wall ride. And it looks like filling a very, very good amount of it. Could have been a little bit deeper in some parts, but a very much so better run than the first one.
And that was much, much better. He still sideswiped that cone, but he came in ready to party. Did not care about what was going on. He knew he had a score on the board and just came out and put it all on the line. There's a lot to clean up, but once you really get it, you'll have earned your nickname.
I believe now we are going to be getting ready to switch over to the next group of drivers here, potentially.
Oh. It appears we are switching groups. I think.
Yep, yeah, no, we are ready for the next group of drivers here.
The question will be, who's going to come out on top of Group 2?
Chris, I see you in the chat there. I don't believe that this software is currently up for grabs yet. It is still partially in the testing phase here. We did talk with drivers a little bit about that during the briefing today, so they are still working out all the kinks, making sure that everything is perfect before it is released for full public use. So stay tuned. More to come on that.
Well, now that we've got a little bit of downtime, I have to ask, what is your go-to tire pressure for competing? And I know this is a very taboo question, but I feel like just for entertainment purposes, favorite tire pressure to run for
now we're getting into the goods here.
For sub 400 horsepower cars. Let's go on that one.
Ooh, for a sub 400 car, now we're talking about some juicy stuff. See, it depends on the car, really. That's the big kicker there. Because obviously the heavier the car, the more your tire pressure is going to change. But let's say you got like a nice little S13 Sylvia. I'm throwing maybe a good like 30 PSI in the rear.
All right,
and I'm just going to let the car do its thing.
In this video, I'm going to walk you through how qualifying works.
To take, my friend.
Let's start with staging. You're going to pull into the lead staging box, and all 4 tires need to be inside it.
Here we
Once
take a
you
look
come
at
to a
the
complete stop,
software.
a 2-second staging timer
It
starts.
appears that we've got
After
Jackie
that, you'll get a
Wong
3,
back at the
2,
line.
1, go. On go, you've got 10 seconds to initiate your drift, so don't stall at the line. If you take off before go, you get reset. Do that 3 times. Congrats. You just earned yourself a 0.
It looks like he came
During
out to
initiation,
party.
do not cross the center line. You need to cross that first cone at full angle. Once you do, your run officially starts being scored. You begin with 100 points, and from there, everything is about not losing them. This isn't a rack-up point system. It's about driving clean enough to protect your score. Next
Faust,
up,
I don't know
line.
what you're looking at, but you are
Follow
not
the
looking at the
darker
stream
skid
right now,
marks
my
on the
brother.
track. That's your ideal line, and this is
literally
measured
sitting
from
in
the
the server
center of your
watching
rear
Jackie
axle.
drive.
If you drift off that line, you're
we're
losing
currently
points.
on the stream trying to
Simple
show
as that.
everybody the
Speed
the
is
software.
exactly what it sounds like.
You got to tune into
There's
the
a
screen
target
share.
speed you need to hit to avoid deductions. Go
My
too
eyes don't
slow,
work that
you're
well.
getting penalized. There are also lower speed zones where the expected speed changes. Angle is huge. It's based on how sideways your car is compared to where it's actually moving. You want consistent, high angle the entire run. If your angle is shaky or you're constantly correcting, those are called corrections, and they'll chip away at your score pretty fast. Now let's talk inner clips. These are scored using your trailing front tire. You want that tire placed between the first and second line for maximum score. Those cones you see, they're just a reference. Don't rely on them. Figure this out early in practice, or your runs are going to suffer later. Outer zones are scored using your leading rear tire. You want to push that tire as deep into the zone as possible, without going outside the yellow boundary. And just so it's clear, track edge does not count as a zone. If you drop tires off track, even if it looks like you're filling the zone, it'll only count as about a third. The boxes will turn yellow, representing your other not judged tire. For wall zones, it's about how deep your car collider gets into the zone. You don't need to be scraping the wall. There's about 10 inches of wiggle room for full score. Now, tire drops. If you drop 1 tire off track, that's a deduction. 2 tires, double deduction. 3 tires off at once, that's a 0. Speaking of zeros, here's what will completely kill your run. Spinning or throwing a backy, that's 98+ degrees, straightening your car, switching drift direction outside of a transition zone, or stacking so many deductions your score becomes unchaseable. When you reach the finish line, stay sideways. You need to cross it at an angle. Don't straighten early or you'll lose points right at the end. One last thing. This scoring system is still being developed and refined. We're collecting data and improving accuracy with every run we watch. So treat this as both a competition and a test. If something feels off, save the run, report it, and give us details. The goal is simple. Make this system as fair, consistent, and competitive as possible. That's it for qualifying. Now go out there, hit your zones, hold your angle, and don't zero your run in the first corner. Good luck.
All right. It looks like we are back.
And Joao Caetano will be coming in first. And he is in the Ferrari 499. That is a beautiful car. Let's see if he can handle that car as he comes through the chicane. Big tip in, hits that first inside clip, and looks a little unsettled. But he fills the first two outside zones, coming through the outside zone 3, a little shallow through it. Came in a little close to the cone, but pushes out to outside zone 4 all the way to outside zone 5 and pushes all the way around and just kisses the wall, pushing him out of the zone, holding it together just barely.
Yeah, driving a very unique vehicle here as well with the Ferrari. It looks like we had the wrong car come up to the line here. I believe we might have missed one of Joao's runs potentially there.
Possibly.
It looks like, yeah, we did actually miss one of the runs there from Joao. So the first one was a 40.35. Second run is a 38.96. We're going to be having, looks like Osama El Gendi pulling up to the line, driving the Nissan Silvia S15.
It appears we have Zadrunas coming to the line. Oh, no. Oh, he looks a little confused. There he is. And Osama El Gendi has been putting down good laps in practice. Will he be able to carry it over to qualifying? Is the question. As we got him at the line. A little confused where he's supposed to be, but he's figuring it out. Probably slight technical difficulties.
Yeah, it looks like just trying to work everything out here.
Big flick, big tip in as he fills that first inside clip going all the way out to the first outside zone, barely staying on the track as he comes through second and third outside zone, really filling him. A little far off on that second inside clip, a little bit of wavering in outside 4. Still barely missing inside 3 as he fills all of 5, outside 5, and goes up into the last outside zone. A little wavery, but he was able to keep it in that zone the whole time.
Yeah, and we'll get him back to the line for run number 2 here. A couple of things that could definitely be improved upon there, but still putting down a pretty decent run to start him off there. As we get him back into the box here. .73.75 on the board now. Big flick into that initiation. Grabs that inside clip pretty much perfectly there. Bringing it out to outside zone number 1. Oh, it does drop a tire, unfortunately, there. And comes up a little bit shallow in outside zone number 2. Transition through 3. Very nicely done there. Goes a little bit too far on the inside on inside clip number 2. Grabs outside zone 4. Gets inside clip 3 perfectly. Bringing it out to outside zone 5. Way too far on the inside there. As we come out to the wall right here and holding it, it looks like a little bit of a safe angle across the line there. Not going to better the score, but still putting 2 scores up on the board regardless. And this is a good time to mention a couple of our sponsors while we wait for the next driver to pull up to the line. Of course, one of the most prominent ones that we see here is DnD, as you just saw on the screen there. DnD Performance Interiors, they specialize in aftermarket automotive components, primarily focused on the racing stuff, your seats, your harnesses, your wheels, quick releases. All for, of course, track and off-road use only, hint, hint, wink, wink. And if you want to save a little bit of money on some DnD Performance parts for your interior of your car, you can go over there and use code ESDA DnD26. That's ESDA DnD26. Save yourself a little bit of money on some interior parts.
And you cannot forget one of the Assetto Drift community's largest sponsors, and a sponsor that I am very fond on, Vosan, one of the top platforms in the Assetto Corsa Drift community, where a lot of people come to find mods, where a lot of people post mods, where you're going to find and connect with all kinds of people and all kinds of mods, all different types of racing from all around the world. And yeah, Vosan is just a great place to be, and I'm thankful that we have Vosan as one of our title sponsors. As we send Zadrunas down through the chicane, coming out with that A80 Supra. Little bit safe initiation, but he fills that inside clip, goes all the way out in the outside zone 2 or outside zone 1 and 2, fills all of 3. Right on the line for inside clip. Is he going to fill all of outside 5? Yes, he is. As he comes into the last outside zone, really putting it out on the wall for a 79.54.
And we're getting ever so closer to seeing that first 80s run on the board there. I think Zadrunas might be the person to do it. Looking very good, very consistent in that first run here.
Looking real comfortable that whole lap as well.
Now bringing that Super back up to the line here, getting ready to send it for run number 2. Light is going. Out through that start chicane is Zadrunas. Initiates in, very nice flicked angle. A little bit off on that inside clip, but that's all right, still making it work. Grabs most of outside zone number 1, does come out a little bit early and a little bit shallow in outer 2. Same deal with outside zone number 3, but holding pretty good angle perfectly for inside clip number 2. Brings it all the way out to outside zone number 4. Could have stayed in a little bit more, and perfect on inside clip 3 as well. Very nicely done through outside zone number 5. Now bringing it into the wall run here. And unfortunately going to be dipping below that 80 score there, but across the line. Oh, no, and it is an 80. There it is. We got the first 80 on the board of the day with an 80.46. Very nicely done by Zadrunas.
Zydrunas Ilgauskas with the first unicorn of the day, because that 80 has been eluding the drivers all in practice and throughout early qualifying.
Very nice to finally see an 80 get put up on the board.
And the real question is, will we see many more? Did Zydrunas break the ice for all of the other drivers to come out and put out a show?
Yeah, right now your top 3 qualifiers going down the list here. Currently, Zydrunas sitting number 1 pole position with an 80.46. Following Zydrunas, still going to be Yunsheng Lao with a 78.62. And rounding out your top 3 currently with a 73.75 is Osama El Gendi.
And we do have quite a few low-scoring drivers so far today, but it is going to be interesting to see what the point disparity is at the end of qualifying. And it looks like we are having to wait for the next driver. So whilst we are waiting for the next driver to show up, back to the question from earlier. Favorite horsepower or favorite tire pressure to run on sub 400 horsepower competition cars like the BDC V4 and V6 pack, just as an example.
Oh, well, you won't see me driving those cars anyway. I am personally not a fan of how they feel. But if we talk about like cars like the N-style cars, which I feel are a little bit more fun to drive, I honestly typically don't really change much on the setup. Maybe drop the rear tires to like 28 and just run it as is. They feel pretty good. But it also depends on what cars you're on as well. Every single car is different. And speaking of different cars, car that is not very different for many people, we've got Colin in the RTR here.
As he does
custom skin of the day.
And he is looking like he might be doing something this run. He saw Zydrunas and said, "Hold my beer," came around and is just wrapping that car and putting it where he wants it to be. A little wavery throughout most of this course, but all in all, he really just kind of stuck it. Could have been a little bit more gutsy with his tosses. Could have let the weight of the car do a little bit more work, but he really put it in there.
Could have, but we've got the score of the day. The score of the day is on the board of 69-67. It
Nice.
Doesn't get any better than that, folks. That is the nicest score that you could possibly get. That's Colleen now out through the start scan of that RTR Mustang. I see he puts that for number 2. Very nice on that first inside clip. Bringing it out to outside zone number 1, putting the tire right out to the track edge. Transitioning through, same deal on outside zone number 2, now through 3 again. Could have been a little bit earlier there, but nicely done. Picking up all of inside clip number 2. Very nice through outside zone number 4, right to the track edge, and all of inside clip 3 getting grabbed. Outside zone 5 could have been there a little bit deeper, but that's all right. Now bringing it out to that wall run here. A little bit wavery getting in there, but does make it thick all the way through. And an 85.11, that's going to go ahead and take the top of the board there. Colleen putting down an 85.11 in the RTR Mustang. Very nice run.
I told you, he saw Zydrunas break the ice and said, "Hold my beer, I've got this." Came out, put it all on the line. He saw that he had a score on for that first run and said, "I got this. It doesn't make a difference. I'm going to win." And just a side note, if he had a wing on that car, especially one of the GTD Mustang wings on that car, he would have had it all over that wall. So much wing material just left behind. as it looks like we are getting ready to send our next driver to the line. We have Alexander Borisov in his Nissan S15. The questions are all going to be left on the course. All that's left now is to see if he can come out and really party with that car. If he has his setup dialed in, he'll be great as he goes for a big flick through the initiation, hitting that inside clip, really filling that outside zone. 1, 2, and 3 all the way right in the spot for inside clip 2, filling all of outside zone 4. Little bit of wavering there throughout that last section, but he's filling the zones. Looks like he's having and he straightens right at the end for a 0. But I think he's going to be able to wrap it back around for his second run.
Yeah, we'll see what he can do here. Definitely not the way that you want that run to end. It was looking pretty good through the start. Maybe just a little bit of nerves to work off as Alexander going back up to the line here. See what Alexander Borisov can do. Initiates in. Noticing the S14 front end sitting very high here. Very aggressive stance as he grabs both of those first parts very perfectly. Could have been a little bit deeper into outside zone number 2, and very much so the same on outside zone number 3. Exceeds inside clip number 2 by a little bit there, but almost perfect through 4. Inner clip 3, absolutely perfect on that one as well. Now out to outside zone 5, perfect outside zone there. Bringing it out to that wall, a little bit of a waver in the angle, but still managing to make it stick unlike last time, and does cross the line with 68.09, so it's at least better than a 0, taking home a score.
I did not notice that he does have the monster truck fitment in the front.
Yeah, it definitely has a very aggressive stance put together on that S14, and almost 3-wheel in that car. I see Revs in the chat there picking up on that. Absolutely trying to stick the front end of that car up in the air, maybe trying to get it to lift off. Try to take over for Spirit Airlines. Rest in peace, Spirit Airlines. We lost them today, unfortunately. Not unfortunately. They are the Nissan Altima of the sky, but still very unfortunate for all their employees. So thoughts out to those guys. Rest in peace, Spirit.
As he might just be trying to lift that tire higher enough to put it in the chase driver's window and distract him. That's the only thing that comes to mind when I think of that. As we have Abdul Rahim pulling to the line. Also a little bit of a monster truck stance in the front. Let's see if that will come back to help him or hurt him as he goes for a big tip in early, filling all of that inside clip, filling all of that first outside zone, getting all the way to the outside track edge on the second and third outside zones as he hits that inside clip and just washes out a little bit too much in that fourth outside zone. Pulls it back on track to finish out the run, but it will be a 0. If not for that washout, we could have had another 80-point score on the board.
Yeah, definitely not the best way to end off that run there. Sort of the washout a little bit. But yeah, so is the way when it comes to drifting, as we looks like we're shooting past the box a little bit here, pulling up to the line.
He's just doing a drag race initiation.
Here we go. Abdul through that start chicane, that E46 BMW. Very nice flick. Oh, wow. Very good flick into that initiation, but goes a little bit too far past that first inside clip, grabbing all of outside zone number 1. Most of outside zone number 2 as well. Could have been slightly earlier there. Same thing with outside zone number 3. Now perfect on inside clip number 2, bringing it out to outside zone 4. Very shallow at the start, but gets all the way out there towards the end. Exceeding inside clip number 3 a little bit, and then a little bit of wavering going through outside zone number 5 as Abdul brings it out to that wall run now. Pretty much fell in that zone perfectly. Oh, up until about the halfway point as he brings it across the line with a 66.12.
I would love to see him in something he is comfortable in. And I feel like after qualifying, the drivers will have just enough time to really dial in their settings for battles so that we're going to have a really great show.
Yeah, we're a long way from done yet.
We got to give the people what they want, more drifting.
And on the note of drifting, one of the other things that we like to talk about
welcome
here.
to Drift League.
Oh,
in this video, I'm going to walk you through how qualifying works. Let's start with staging. You're going to pull into the lead staging box, and all 4 tires need to be inside it. Once you come to a complete stop, a 2-second staging timer starts. After that, you'll get a 3, 2, 1,
the explanation
go.
of how the
On
Drift League
go,
works
you've
and
got
how
10
the new
seconds to
software
initiate your
is going.
drift. So don't stall
Make
at the
sure to
line.
stay hydrated. Make sure that everybody stays excited for what we got going on later on today, because throughout
you just earned yourself a 0.
the explanation.
During initiation, do not cross the center line. You need to cross that first cone at full angle. Once you do, your run officially starts being scored. You begin with 100 points, and from there, everything is about not losing them. This isn't a rack-up point system. It's about driving clean enough to protect your score. Next up, line. Follow the darker skid marks on the track. That's your ideal line, and this is measured from the center of your rear axle. If you drift off that line, you're losing points. Simple as that. Speed is exactly what it sounds like. There's a target speed you need to hit to avoid deductions. Go too slow, you're getting penalized. There are also lower speed zones where the expected speed changes. Angle is huge. It's based on how sideways your car is compared to where it's actually moving. You want consistent, high angle the entire run. If your angle is shaky or you're constantly correcting, those are called corrections, and they'll chip away at your score pretty fast. Now let's talk inner clips. These are scored using your trailing front tire. You want that tire placed between the first and second line for maximum score. Those cones you see, they're just a reference. Don't rely on them. Figure this out early in practice, or your runs are going to suffer later. Outer zones are scored using your leading rear tire. You want to push that tire as deep into the zone as possible, without going outside the yellow boundary. And just so it's clear, track edge does not count as a zone. If you drop tires off track, even if it looks like you're filling the zone, it'll only count as about a third. The boxes will turn yellow, representing your other not judged tire. For wall zones, it's about how deep your car collider gets into the zone. You don't need to be scraping the wall. There's about 10 inches of wiggle room for full score. Now, tire drops. If you drop 1 tire off track, that's a deduction. 2 tires, double deduction. 3 tires off at once, that's a 0. Speaking of zeros, here's what will completely kill your run. Spinning or throwing a backy, that's 98+ degrees, straightening your car, switching drift direction outside of a transition zone, or stacking so many deductions your score becomes unchaseable. When you reach the finish line, stay sideways. You need to cross it at an angle. Don't straighten early or you'll lose points right at the end. One last thing. This scoring system is still being developed and refined. We're collecting data and improving accuracy with every run we watch. So treat this as both a competition and a test. If something feels off, save the run, report it, and give us details. The goal is simple. Make this system as fair, consistent, and competitive as possible. That's it for qualifying. Now go out there, hit your zones, hold your angle, and don't zero your run in the first corner. Good luck.
All right, and we are back after that explanation of the Drift League software. Looks like we are going to be having Justice coming up to the line here in that Corvette, that wonderful C6. Getting ready to throw down the first run of this group.
And Justice has been doing relatively decently throughout most of this practice session. The question is, will he be able to shake off the nerves and just keep it moving?
Yeah, let's see what he puts down here at the open event. Bringing out that C6, definitely a very popular car this year across multiple different physics sets. C6 gaining its popularity.
Coming from different chassis, the C6 feels just off of hand feel and the old butt dyno. The C6 feels like one of the easier cars to tune around. As he goes off through the start chicane, how is he going to do his initiation? A bit of a manji initiation, big click in. And it looks like the driver's score was having a little bit of an issue, so we're going to re-rack him from the looks of it. But yes, the C6 has gained a lot of popularity this season because it just feels like a good car to drive. It is a nice feeling car. You don't really have to do too much tuning to it out of the box. And you can just kind of set it and forget it in a lot of cases.
Yeah, it looks like, oh, there we go. We finally got the graphic off of the screen there for Justice. We unfortunately couldn't really show you guys that run, but the run did happen. So it happened behind the box with the driver name on it. Get him racked up and go for the next run.
Oh, we are going to count his first run?
I believe. I think that was considered a run.
Yeah, because it appeared that the software didn't register when he was launching, and it didn't score his run.
We'll have to see what's going on.
It's going to be interesting.
It won't be scored.
If they do count it, he didn't finish the run, so they don't really have much to work off of.
There's a good chance they might have just called him back to the line here.
Possibly. Oh, it's a false start. He's jumping the light. Oh, the nerves might be getting to him. As he finally gets off clean through that start chicane. Does a big manji initiation, little far on the outside for that inside clip. Gets halfway into outside zone 1 and 2. Fills most of outside zone 3, really hitting that second outside clip though. Filling all of outside 4. Third inside clip he hit, but was a little far off. Filled all of 5. And wavers on the wall for a 0. If he would have held steady and had a little bit more confidence in himself there, he would have made it. And it looks like that first run was not judged as we get him up to the line for his second qualifying run. Will he play it safe? Will he run it all out there? We will see.
He adjusts us now through the start chicane. Very nice big flick going into that initiation. Same deal as the first run with that first inside clip. Not getting quite all the way there, but does get a little bit further out on outside zone number 1. Grabs about good 2/3 of outside zone 2, a majority of 3. Now grabbing inside clip number 2 perfectly. Almost perfect through outside zone 4. Same deal as inside clip number 1, but doing it again on 3. Has majority of 5 getting grabbed there. Bringing it out to that wall now in that C6 Corvette. Playing it a little bit safe, looks like, through part of it. Does bring it across the line. We've got another 80 score on the board with an 82.97.
Really trying to push it out to the wall right at the end. Get that little exclamation point on the run.
Oh, but it is going to be rounded up to an 83, it looks like.
Which is a good run, good score. That's got him high up there as we have Advenus coming up to the line.
Yeah, Advenus, one of the drivers over at the Oversteer Grand Prix, one of the partner series, and a series that I am very much so involved in. Always a very good driver to watch out on track. Going up here to the ESDA 2026 Spring Open, we'll see what he's able to put down in that Nissan 180SX, part of Team Lock to Lock. Very prominent team in the series right now.
And Advenus has been all over this season. He has been driving his behind off as he goes for a big Manji flick, really filling that inside clip, pushing all the way out to the track edge and outside zone 1 and 2. Coming in at 3, borderline going off the track. Hits that inside clip 2, pushing half a tire off of the track in outside zone 4. He is a man on a mission today, wrapping it around that wall, really pushing out, hanging the wing over the wall to end it with a 360 on a 67.
Very nice score. We love that score. Unfortunately, Advenus having a very strong start, but towards halfway through that run there, just kind of falling apart a little bit with some of the wavering going on, a little bit of line issues. Maybe got shaken up by that tire drop.
But he came through with style. Even though he saw his score coming down, he did not let it stop him and put that little sauce on the course.
You almost lost your words there. That's Advenus. Bringing it out through that first inside clip, very nicely done. Gets perfect through outside zone number 1 and outside zone number 2 there. Now wrapping it out to outside zone 3. Almost perfect there as well. Grabbing inside clip number 2 perfectly. Outside zone number 4 could have been in a little bit early, but finishes very strong there and grabs inside clip number 3 perfect. Outside zone 5 also perfect. Now bringing it out to the wall here. And so far, so good. Filling outside zone number 6 perfect. And our first 90 of the day, Advenus taking the top spot with a 90.33 on the board. The first 90 run of the day. Very nicely done by Advenus.
Educational Venus. Educational, because that was textbook. He came out, heard everything that he did wrong on that first run, and just fixed it. That was a textbook Advenus run, and with as much
taking off those nerves, definitely looks much stronger in that second run than he did on the first. Putting on a 67 for your first run, very funny thing to do to follow up with a 90. So very big credit for that, and also kudos for slapping your name and door card on the car, but absolutely nothing else. That is absolutely a W in my books.
He's only advertising himself. He said, I don't need a title sponsor. I am the title sponsor.
Big livery guy over here. Such a big, you know what? It's just camo wrap. The whole livery is camo wrap. That's why we can't see it.
It's John Cena all over his car. That's what it is.
Yes, yep. You put a spell on that thing. So I believe next up, I have another name coming up that is very prominent in some of the series. I know that I've seen him around quite a few. Frederick Blockus. We've had many nicknames for this guy. Some even referring to him as the Frederick Osbo of the sim world at times. Can't say that I've ever called him that myself, but he is driving a Toyota, so maybe he'll prove that nickname here today.
Osbo is known for his Supra. This Frederick is known for his GT86. We will see if the nerves are going to get him or if he's going to come out and put on a robotic performance as he fires off through the chicane. Big flick initiation, little far off of that inside clip, but really uses the momentum to fill all of outside zone 1. Hitting the dirt in outside 2 and 3, just a tire, pushing barely to the edge, half a tire over on outside zone 4. Really filling 5, wrapping around into 6 and pushing it just that last little bit out, trying to get both tires in the box for the last outside zone as he finishes with a 55.96.
Definitely not upholding the Frederick Osbo nickname there, Blockus, so I'm going to need you to turn it up a little bit on this second run. Get a little bit more of that excitement flowing for me here. I know
he just had his boost turned down. That's all it is. He was running low boost.
Here we go. Frederick now out through that start chicane in the GT86. A little bit of a laggy transition in, but a transition nonetheless. Second hash mark on that first inside clip. Now bringing it all the way out to the edge of outside zone number 1. Whoa, a little bit of an exceed, but it looks like no, actually does keep that tire on through outside zone 2 perfectly, grabbing inside clip 2 number perfectly now. Could have been a little bit deeper into 4, but does manage to grab inside clip number 3 there. Now through outside zone 5, almost perfect. Bringing it out to the wall now. See what he does here. Try to keep it stable, but oh, looks like going into the wall a little bit there.
It did
definitely
look like
some contact with the wall for sure. Not too sure where the score reflects that. But he does cross the line with the score.
And
the
it
official
did
score is
look
going
like
to be 74-7.
Don't worry, guys. That wall, it was moving when he got there. It just kind of like reached out and tried to grab his car. He didn't back into the wall backed into him. As we send our next driver in the C6 Corvette, he throws a big flick. Kind of hanging it out there. He does not have much more angle in those front wheels to give as he fills all of outside 1, 2, and 3. Putting the nose on the cone for inside clip 2, filling all of 4. Hitting all of the zones. He is a man possessed. Wrapping it around into that last outside zone. Borderline on the wall, both wheels in the box the whole way through as he finishes with a 79.8. Yuna Savalainen is the driver that, or in case we didn't get the chance to list off his name prior, as he lines up for his second run.
Yeah, here we go now, bringing that C6 Vet out onto the track here. Initiates in with a very aggressive snap into the angle and perfectly picking up inside clip number 1. Takes it out to the edge of outside zone number 1. Does leave slightly early, but now transitioning in outside zone 2 pretty much mirrors that. Gets pretty good through outside zone number 3 and perfectly picking up inside clip number 2. Outside zone number 4 could have been a little bit deeper through some parts, but is going to pick up inside clip 3 now to follow that up. Getting majority of outside zone number 4, now transitioning for the last time through to the wall outside zone here of number 6. Putting the car right where it's got to be. Comes off a little bit, but does cross the line in the 80s with an 84.16. Very nice run on that C6 Corvette.
Both runs on that wall, it looked like he was trying to lose his bumper on the wall. He said, I don't need this weight reduction. You can have it. And the style, the swagger that he came out with, the sheer cojones he had to ride that car for 80% of the track on full lock steering stops. He could not get more angle if he wanted to. To hold that together, kudos to you, man.
just to answer over to you there, Revs, in the chat, because we do see you asking about the system here. Even between zones, one of the things that does occur is the speed, angle, and line does still get judged based off of a perfect line that is drawn out on the track. So the software is picking up where these guys are putting the cars through transitions, as well as how they are entering the zones. So pretty much everything is being taken into account here by the software. If you are slightly off of line, if you are slightly off of angle, you are going to watch those points fall. As we get ready to load the next group.
All right, welcome to Drift League. In this video,
Take you guys over
I'm
to the
going to
Drift
walk
League.
you through
Let
how
them explain the
qualifying
software
works.
to you again.
Let's start with staging. You're going to pull into the lead staging box, and all 4 tires need to be inside it. Once you come to a complete stop, a 2-second staging timer starts. After that, you'll get a 3, 2, 1, go. On go, you've got 10 seconds to initiate your drift, so don't stall at the line. If you take off before go, you get reset. Do that 3 times? Congrats, you just earned yourself a 0. During initiation, do not cross the center line. You need to cross that first cone at full angle. Once you do, your run officially starts being scored. You begin with 100 points, and from there, everything is about not losing them. This isn't a rack-up point system. It's about driving clean enough to protect your score. Next up, line. Follow the darker skid marks on the track. That's your ideal line. And this is measured from the center of your rear axle. If you drift off that line, you're losing points. Simple as that. Speed is exactly what it sounds like. There's a target speed you need to hit to avoid deductions. Go too slow, you're getting penalized. There are also lower speed zones where the expected speed changes. Angle is huge. It's based on how sideways your car is compared to where it's actually moving. You want consistent, high angle the entire run. If your angle is shaky or you're constantly correcting, those are called corrections, and they'll chip away at your score pretty fast. Now let's talk inner clips. These are scored using your trailing front tire. You want that tire placed between the first and second line for maximum score. Those cones you see, they're just a reference. Don't rely on them. Figure this out early in practice, or your runs are going to suffer later. Outer zones are scored using your leading rear tire. You want to push that tire as deep into the zone as possible, without going outside the yellow boundary. And just so it's clear, track edge does not count as a zone. If you drop tires off track, even if it looks like you're filling the zone, it'll only count as about a third. The boxes will turn yellow, representing your other not judged tire. For wall zones, it's about how deep your car collider gets into the zone. You don't need to be scraping the wall. There's about 10 inches of wiggle room for full score. Now, tire drops. If you drop 1 tire off track, that's a deduction. 2 tires, double deduction. 3 tires off at once, that's a 0. Speaking of zeros, here's what will completely kill your run. Spinning or throwing a backy, that's 98+ degrees, straightening your car, switching drift direction outside of a transition zone, or stacking so many deductions your score becomes unchaseable. When you reach the finish line, stay sideways. You need to cross it at an angle. Don't straighten early or you'll lose points right at the end. One last thing. This scoring system is still being developed and refined. We're collecting data and improving accuracy with every run we watch. So treat this as both a competition and a test. If something feels off, save the run, report it, and give us details. The goal is simple. Make this system as fair, consistent, and competitive as possible. That's it for qualifying. Now go out there, hit your zones, hold your angle, and don't zero your run in the first corner. Good luck.
All right, and we are back. Hopefully you guys got to enjoy that wonderful preview of the Drift League software that's going on. Very nice little system. Obviously, things are still in development, so take it with a little bit of a grain of salt. There are some issues that do need to be worked out every now and then, but with the new software, that is what happens. Even with those issues in mind, any kind of problems that it does have will be, of course, consistent throughout any kind of runs. So it is still a good, fair system regardless. Still going to be given the same scores for the same kind of runs that are getting put down on track. And next up, looks like we're going to have Leo to the line.
And he is from Team Ghost Brazil, driving the A90 Supra. And that car is a beautiful car. Unpopular opinion for all of the viewers out there. The A90 Supra is a Supra. I know that is going to start such a debate, but the A90 Supra is a Supra, and it is a damn good Supra, in my opinion. As we get him off through the start chicane, he is coming in with some speed, really just handbrake initiation, pulling it in a little far off of that inside clip, but pushing it all the way to outside one, filling most of outside two, but really filling outside three, a little far off of the inside clip, but he still picked up the points, little midline through outside four, but hits inside clip three. Fills all of outside five and just throws a little too much angle, washes out a little bit, but shallow line through the last outside zone, but manages to make it with a 75.6.
Yeah, definitely not a bad run by any means there, and I will say this is a very nice little paint job going on this car here. Do love to see a nice little custom livery going on, very geometric, very eye-catching here. As we get Leo back up to the line. Waiting for the lights to go, and away he is. Through that start chicane now. Crossing that center line a little bit, but that's all right. It's just qualifying with a very nice and aggressive initiation there. Could have been a little bit closer to inside clip number one, but almost gets outside zone one perfect. Outside zone number two is perfect. Outside zone three could have been a little bit deeper there, but now going to grab a little bit of inner clip two. Could have been way closer. As looks like not the most stable run going on here. Doesn't get that third inside clip, but gets most of outside zone 5. As he now brings it out to the wall here. A little bit of a waiver and angle, but fills that zone with a 74.89 across the line. Very nice run from Leo. See where that puts him here.
And that was interesting. First initiation he did was a really big handbrake drag. And then he came back and just partied, put it all out there. That was real Scandinavian of him.
Just a little bit.
And that is what I like to see. Come out, put a little sauce on the court.
And there it is, a 75.6 will be the score to go with for Leo as his higher score. Very consistent on both of those runs, within a point of each other. That was very nice to see occur. We love consistency. Consistency is key when it comes to competitive drifting. It's exactly what you want to see happen. As we get ready for another one of the Ghost Team Brazil guys to pull up here in the Mustang, Mr. Raul.
We have, Raul Pagato. It is going to be fun. These Team Ghost guys come out to party. They never come out to play. And Raul looks like he is ready to rock at the line as he gets staged up properly and ready to send. He is up.
Oh, back to the
His
pits.
tires are not hot anymore. I think he went back to the pits because he saw the crowd of people back there and his Mustang instincts just kicked in.
Yes, very typical Mustang behavior there.
Yeah, you see a whole bunch of empty space in front of you. You aim for the crowd behind you. As he comes through the start chicane, how is he going to do this? Big Manji initiation, little handbrake pull, as he really fills that inside clip. Little shallow in outside 1 and 2, but he pushes it a little bit in 3 midline throughout the first 3 outside zones and pushes it to the track edge for that 4th outside zone. A little far off on those last 2 inside clips, but he is filling this course up pretty nicely, trying to back it into the wall, but just fell out of that last outside zone a quarter of the way through as he finishes across the line with a 69. Nice.
Yeah, actually looks like there might have been a little bit of contact with the wall in that last outside zone. I did see the front end of the car kind of got picked up a little bit there. Maybe a little bit of a tap, but still manages to keep it through across the line there, coming out a little bit at the end. Hopefully he'll be able to improve on that for the second run here.
It was nothing but a ghost tap on the wall.
And here we go. Raul now making his way down to the initiation marker. And initiates in, and that RTR Mustang could have been way closer on that first inside clip. And outside zone number 1, a little bit shallow here. Same deal on outside zone number 2. And outside zone number 3, same thing. Now bringing it into inside clip number 2. That was perfectly picked up. Grabs most of 4, but a little bit of an issue on the line there and doesn't grab inside clip 3. Oh, and looks like major issue for Raul in that transition point there. Transition way too early now. Does manage to keep it out of that last outside zone, but it's definitely not going to reflect very highly on the score with all those issues. Second run's going to be a 39.94.
And that was sloppy. He had
definitely not a good way to improve that. But a 69.9 on the board, definitely a good score. Hopefully that'll get him into the show.
That's a real nice score.
Still not as good as a 69.67, but that's okay. That's going to be a really hard one to beat for these guys.
Next up, we have Robert Stead pulling to the line in his S15.
E36,
oh,
I believe, is he running?
Yes, he is in an E36 now. He took his trusty steed and said, I've got to bring my side piece today. As he is staged up at the line and looking like he is ready to rip that bumper off, that whole rear end off of the car. As he fires off through that start chicane. Real early initiation, big flick, far off of that inside clip, but misses most of outside 1, fills all of outside 2, and really pushes it to the edge on 3. Could have been closer on inside clip 2, but uses that momentum to push in the rest of the way out for outside 4 and 5, but misses most of 5. And a big bobble at the end as he goes into the wall, starts to straighten up at the end, but barely holds it together for a 52.79.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of issues to correct there. Obviously, the first part of that run was a little rough, but nothing that can't be fixed up in the second run here. And a very capable chassis and a very capable driver as well is Rob Steed. As he initiates in, a little bit shallow on that initiation, and it's going to make him punch that clip, but he does get out to outside zone number 1, and majorly overshoots outside zone 2. Causing him to waver a lot going into 3. Does manage to pick up inside clip number 2. Maybe he can salvage this run here as he gets outside zone 4 pretty good, but does miss inside clip number 3. Makes it out to outside zone 5, and now for the last transition through to the wall here. Puts it into the wall, a little bit of contact there, but he does manage to keep it over, and it looks like, yeah, definitely some contact with the wall there. It is going to be a score on the board, looks like, of a 15.37, but definitely not the improved run that we wanted to see there.
And that was dreadful. He did not look comfortable in that car at all.
Definitely a couple of things to work out there. Honestly, the 52.8 might be sitting on the outside looking in when we get towards some of our other qualifiers towards the end of the session here. But, you know, maybe, hopefully it might be enough just to squeeze your way into the show there.
And hopefully that little bit of a gap, if he does manage to get in, gives him enough time to actually really dial in the settings of that car and get comfortable.
Yeah, hopefully he'll be able to clean that up for battles if he does make it there. Obviously, we still have quite a few people yet to go for their qualifying runs here. Some very exciting names to come up yet.
And it looks like we are in the process of figuring out who will be next.
I believe next up we should have Tyler Holst, I believe.
I'm not entirely sure if he made it here. He might still be packed up in the trailer. Looks like we have
he's not here.
And Tim could be pulling up to the line, getting ready to party with the rest of us in his S chassis.
He's ripping the S14. Yep. This is a driver that you should be pretty familiar with. Coming from your camp over there at the Effervescence group.
That is true. Timmy is a member of Team Effervescence, which I am also a member of. So I'm expecting big things out of Timmy as he fires off. Relatively slow rolling through the start chicane. Bit of a weird initiation, but barely fires him off before that one cone. Hits the inside clip, but is just a little timid on those first two outside zones. Punts the inside clip 2 cone as he comes in outside 4. A lot of wavering from Timmy, but he's switching it back around, slow rolling his transition, and just falls right out of that last outside zone for a 19.
Definitely not the kind of run that we would have expected. Honestly, I think it might be time to start talking down on your teammate there. That was pretty rough, Tim. We know that you can do better. We've both seen you do better. And even the automated judging system has probably seen you do better because it's a robot and it sees everything.
That is very true, Tim. Drive like you did in your tryouts. We want you out here full hit to bits.
Tim definitely has a lot to correct here going into the second run, currently sitting on the outside looking in as he makes his way through that start chicane, maybe try to pick up a little bit more speed and try to correct that initiation, and he does a much nicer flick this time, grabbing inside clip number 1 perfectly, now bringing it out to outside zone number 1. Could have been a little bit deeper there, but not making it too shallow. Same deal with outside zone number 2. Outside zone 3, almost mirroring outside zone 2, and he does center punch inside clip 2 on this run. Gets most of outside zone 4, but a little bit offline as he goes way too on the inside for inside clip 3. Bit too shallow on outside zone 5. We'll see what he does on the wall here. And unfortunately, Tim is going to have contact with the wall. I believe that's now victim number 7 of outside zone number 6. And that's unfortunately going to be a 0 on the board there. So for Tim, looks like that 19 is going to be the high score, unfortunately. Definitely not looking too good for the chances of getting into battles with that. But the event isn't over, so we'll have to see what happens.
Last time I checked, I ain't heard no fat lady singing yet, so we're just going to have to see how it goes. But we have had an interesting go-about so far. Between all of the drivers who weren't able to make it and all of the drivers that have been here and really putting down heaters, even though a lot of them had it come back to bite them. that's just showcasing how much of an interesting show this is going to be once we do actually make it into battle.
Speaking of shows, one of the things that we do talk about here, of course, are partners. We do have a couple of very nice partner series that we are working with here at ESDA. Number one, we already mentioned OGP, the Oversteer Grand Prix. Very nice little Pro-Am style comp going on over there. Also working with EDN, the Extreme Drift Nations, a European series, I believe. Or actually, no, they're in Brazil, I believe. Somewhere over there. They're way far away from me. It's a series I can never compete in. But they're always crushing it over there. They've always got some cool competition going down. Also working with Swarm, any of the events that they are taking care of. Confucius Sim Racing, the Finnish Drift Cup. They just had one of their events not too long ago. I believe that was last weekend. That was a pretty good show to watch for anybody who didn't tune in. Would definitely recommend you go check them out. Also, DCGP, one of the prominent series overseas. Of course, those of us over here in the States, pretty hard to get into their events with the times that they run them, but they have quite a roster of drivers going on over there. Very, very fun stuff to watch. SVDS, they're currently running their Street Series, which has been going pretty well. The Assetto Ladies Drift League, with the all-women's sim. And I believe we're going to go ahead and cut to a commercial here.
All right,
We're
welcome
just
to Drift
moving
League.
through these groups
In this
pretty
video,
quickly.
I'm going to walk you through how qualifying works. Let's start with staging. You're going to pull into the lead staging box, and all 4 tires need to be inside it. Once you come to a complete stop, a 2-second staging timer starts. After that, you'll get a 3, 2, 1, go. On go, you've got 10 seconds to initiate your drift, so don't stall at the line. If you take off before go, you get reset. Do that 3 times? Congrats, you just earned yourself a 0. During initiation, do not cross the center line. You need to cross that first cone at full angle. Once you do, your run officially starts being scored. You begin with 100 points, and from there, everything is about not losing them. This isn't a rack-up point system. It's about driving clean enough to protect your score. Next up, line. Follow the darker skid marks on the track. That's your ideal line, and this is measured from the center of your rear axle. If you drift off that line, you're losing points. Simple as that. Speed is exactly what it sounds like. There's a target speed you need to hit to avoid deductions. Go too slow, you're getting penalized. There are also lower speed zones where the expected speed changes. Angle is huge. It's based on how sideways your car is compared to where it's actually moving. You want consistent, high angle the entire run. If your angle is shaky or you're constantly correcting, those are called corrections, and they'll chip away at your score pretty fast. Now let's talk inner clips. These are scored using your trailing front tire. You want that tire placed between the first and second line for maximum score. Those cones you see, they're just a reference. Don't rely on them. Figure this out early in practice, or your runs are going to suffer later. Outer zones are scored using your leading rear tire. You want to push that tire as deep into the zone as possible, without going outside the yellow boundary. And just so it's clear, track edge does not count as a zone. If you drop tires off track, even if it looks like you're filling the zone, it'll only count as about a third. The boxes will turn yellow, representing your other not judged tire. For wall zones, it's about how deep your car collider gets into the zone. You don't need to be scraping the wall. There's about 10 inches of wiggle room for full score. Now, tire drops. If you drop 1 tire off track, that's a deduction. 2 tires, double deduction. 3 tires off at once, that's a 0. Speaking of zeros, here's what will completely kill your run. Spinning or throwing a backy, that's 98 plus degrees, straightening your car, switching drift direction outside of a transition zone, or stacking so many deductions your score becomes unchaseable. When you reach the finish line, stay sideways. You need to cross it at an angle. Don't straighten early or you'll lose points right at the end. One last thing. This scoring system is still being developed and refined. We're collecting data and improving accuracy with every run we watch. So treat this as both a competition and a test. If something feels off, save the run, report it, and give us details. The goal is simple. Make this system as fair, consistent, and competitive as possible. That's it for qualifying. Now go out there, hit your zones, hold your angle, and don't zero your run in the first corner. Good luck.
And welcome back. I hope you all enjoyed that explanation of how the ADL software functions and what the criteria are for judging these runs. Hope you guys are all having a blast, because we are definitely having fun out here with you guys and with all of the drivers.
Fun we are indeed having as we get these guys ready to go for the next group here.
And another group of drivers, another set of questions that we have that will be answered very soon.
And while we wait for these guys to get ready here, we'll talk about a couple more of our sponsors. One of the big ones, SS Officially, one of the top mod developers when it comes to the comp-ready Assetto Corsa drift cars. If you're looking for a new comp car, go check them out. They've got all sorts of stuff on their website. Also, we hit on Vosan earlier. We've also got, this year, Gripped Up Mods with us as well. So, Vosan no longer the exclusive. You can also get these cars and tracks over at Gripped Up Mods post-event.
As Colin from Team Effervescence fires out through the start chicane, a little bit of a hesitant initiation, way far off of that inside clip, barely picks it up. Looks like he does not pick up all of outside zone 1, fills 2 and 3, but comes in and misses inside clip 2, filling all of outside zone 4, missing in 3, and filling all of outside zone 5, but coming out a little bit early as he gets right on the wall in that last outside zone, wavering a little bit throughout the zone for 46.56.
And not a horrible run. Definitely not one of the worst runs that we've seen today. However, there is still quite a bit of stuff that could be taken care of there to make it a little bit better. So we'll see if Colin's able to re-rack it here, maybe shake off some nerves, get it going again on this second run as he makes his way through that start chicane. Beautiful E46 BMW with that nice ESDA paint. Misses inside clip number 1. Not a great start. Oh, and completely shuts it down there. Not sure what's going on. Looks like the car just will not hold drift. Maybe we've got a broken control arm or something going on here. A steering rack, I don't know.
I think he just lost a gear in that transmission. He might have just blown up third.
Just did BMW things.
Blow up?
Blow up. There it is. That is going to be a 0, unfortunately. But Colin does still have a score of a 46.6 on the board. And now, coming up to the line here is a car that I actually painted. So very cool to see one of my own pieces of work on track here. As we should be seeing Farinelli pull into the line, I believe. Here he comes. Yep, there he is. Steve Farinelli, driving the S15
And
Sylvia.
Thomas Farinelli, that is a beautiful car. I love a good S chassis on the court. It is nice to see him out here competing again. The question is, will he be able to shake off the nerves as he fires through that start chicane? Big flick Manji initiation. Hitting that first inside clip could be closer, but he was on it, filling all of outside zone 1. Halfway through, on a midline through 2 and 3, and kind of bumper punches that inner clip 2, but fills all of 4. Taps the bumper on inside clip 3, but fills 5, and comes in a little hesitant to the last outside zone. Trying to work his way out to the wall, got there for a second, and then just came out of it for 59.87.
Not a bad run overall. Definitely the inside clips, you got to be very precise on those, because if you're even overhanging it a little bit, you are not getting that inside clip on your score. So we'll now have Farinelli re-rack it here back to the start line in that S15 Sylvia. Very happy with how this paint turned out. I worked very minimalistic on it, and it looks pretty good. So does his initiation here, grabbing inside clip number 1 perfectly. Outside zone number 1, all but perfect as well. Could have been in there a little bit deeper through some parts. Outside zone 2, about 2/3 of the way through. Showers up on outside zone 3, though, and again, punching inner clip number 2, but does get out there for most of outside zone 4. Same deal on inside clip number 3, just going a little bit too inside there. Grabs a good amount of outside zone 5, and now having some trouble getting it out to the wall there is Farinelli in the S15, but does still put a score on the board. Not going to better it. It is a 47.95. But overall, I think that you're pretty safe with that first run.
The runs were definitely in need of some refinement, but he looked damn good while he did it. And sometimes looking the best in show is half of the battle. As we get our next driver staged up and ready to go, we have Dustin Rudd in his Altezza. Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Yep, there he comes in his Altezza, just playing bumper cars in the pits with the other drivers. Can he figure out how to get out? Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, he's got to make his way. Oh, here he comes flying up to the start line. Overshooting it a little bit even.
It's just a drag race and burnout. That's all it is. As he comes through the start chicane a little timid, how will he handle this initiation? Big e-brake drag as he's a little far off of that inside clip and really pushing it out to extend outside zone 1, dropping 2 tires, and he just shuts it down. He started off a little bit funky and then just could not recover from it.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, just having a little bit of trouble there keeping the car in drift. Does have to pull it out. However, just like we said many times before today, that's what your second run's for. Get out there, shake off those nerves, shake off the issues, and don't do whatever you did just there. Make sure that you get through the chicane and do your run instead of stalling out there.
He jumped the light. That's all it was.
Yeah. Hopefully he'll get back to the line here soon and we can get him underway.
Hopefully we don't have anybody.
Shout out to everybody in the chat giving me pizza recommendations. I think I am going to go with the sausage and pepperoni with the Parmesan and pepper. That sounds really good. Thank you, Thomas.
The best pizza.
As Rudd now back to the line. We'll see if he can improve off of that first run there. Coming off of a 0. Has to put a score on the board in order to get in. Bringing it out to that outside zone number 1 and exceeding it with a full tire over the edge of the course and not picking up much of outside zone 2 at all there. Does get outside zone 3 this time and is keeping the car in drift. Grabs a little bit of inside clip number 2. Dropping the tire again, though, coming through 4 and barely grabbing inside clip number 3. Very nice on outside zone 5, though. Somehow a perfect zone in the middle of all this, but now stalling up the car almost entirely. Coming out to the wall there, and that's going to be another 14.96 on the board, which I believe is actually a tie with one of the other drivers, if I'm not mistaken here. Pretty crazy to think there might be 2 of them on here.
It will be a very close score for Timmy Tim as we get our next driver, Logan Mishi, pulling up to the line. And on that note, pineapple on pizza is the best. I will hear no debate.
All right, somebody needs to fire this guy immediately. Oh, and it is coming in to me that Dustin Rudd did just get an incomplete for that run. I guess it was deemed unchaseable there. So unfortunately for Dustin, that is going to be a 0-0. He will not be seeing battles.
And that is a huge disappointment for both us and for Dustin, but we know that he will come out for the next set of battles on the next Open and really have his car dialed in, ready to go. But we have Logan from Team Hashira in his E36, ready to party. As we send him off through the start chicane, he's coming out with a fire lit under his gas tank. Little e-brake pull far off of the inside clip, but uses that to push him out most of the way through one, little shallow through 2 and 3, but he fills all of 2, misses the inside clip, and just barely manages to hold it onto the course through outside zone 4, pushing into outside 5, leaves it a little early, but tries to wrap it around and hold it out on the wall, just barely on the edge of that outside zone 6 for a 38.15.
Lots to improve off of that run there, going into the second run of qualifying for him. Of course, one of the things that we've been hitting on the entire time, we're going to hit on it yet again, like a repeating record here. That second run, shake off those nerves, lay it down, put it all out there. At this point, you've already got a score on the board. It's not great. You got to throw it all out there, or you might not make it in. So see what Logan does here in the E36 as he initiates in. Nice little slow initiation, but does get it to angle. Grabbing inside clip number 1 pretty well and fills all of outside zone number 1 this time, as well as almost every little bit of outside zone 2, but does come up shallow on 3 as he grabs inside clip number 2, bringing it out to outside zone 4, gets majority of that as well. A lot of angle going through inside clip 3, but unfortunately exceeds it and doesn't make it all the way out to outside zone 5 as a result. Coming into the wall now, filling that entire zone up until the halfway point and then falls out of it, but a much better score this time for Logan with a 70.76 on the board. Very nice recovery.
That might just be enough to actually get Logan into the show. With that level of driving from Logan, if he can consistently put down lines like that, he might be one of the drivers to beat. But
yeah,
from the looks of it,
one of the highest scores on the board so far right now. We are still seeing Venus sitting at the top of the poll with the 90.33, immediately followed by Colin Gabriel with the 85.11. Rounding out the top 3 with an 84.16 is Yuna. And we got a couple of 80s behind that, and then we drop into the 70s. A couple 60s, couple 50s, some 40s. It keeps going down from there. Unfortunately, quite a few incompletes here from a lot of people.
And fantasy battle that I am interested to see is whoever has Colin in the first round. A lot of the drivers, it seems, are throwing their runs at relatively shallow angle, whereas Colin was riding on his steering stops. He could not throw more angle at it if he wanted to. And it's going to be interesting to see how the drivers are able to chase him, as we have Andrew Yearwood coming through the chicane. Big Manji, little handbrake drag. Could have been closer on that inside clip, but he did get it. Fills all of outside zone 1 and 2. Pushing all the way out to the track edge on outside 3. Hitting inside clip 2. Could have been a little closer, but still uses that distance off of inside clip 2 to push out to outside 4. Misses inside clip 3 a little bit, but hits the edge of outside zone 5 and really rides the wall all the way through the last outside zone for a 59.56.
Pretty decent score on the board there to start with. Of course, there are always corrections to make. Needs to be a little bit closer on some of those inside clips and a little bit deeper on outside zone number 5, but if you can clean that up, looking at a pretty good run coming up here. And speaking of a good-looking something, this livery, very eye-catching. Definitely Not the most intricate thing that we've ever seen, but the design work going into it very nice as we go into the initiation point here. Very nice on inside clip number 1. Bringing it all the way out to outside zone number 1, and unfortunately does drop a tire there, but now transitions through for outside zone 2 and fills it almost perfectly. Another tire drop going into 3, though. That's definitely going to hurt the score as he does grab inside clip number 2 perfect. Going almost all of outside zone 4, and again, perfect on inside clip number 3. A lot of angle going through outside zone number 5 and doesn't really hold it all the way out there, but still putting the score down and getting all the way out there to the wall through the last outside zone across the line with a 63.73 and a very lackluster attempt at a 360. Could have done better there. Obviously, the better your 360, the better the glaze from the judges. And also, yeah, I guess we don't have judges here, so I guess you're just going to get glazed by me with your 360s.
And right now, he's looking real dry with that 360. No spit at all.
Not even a little bit of excitement out of it. It almost looked like he was just trying to recover from an over-rotation. So hopefully he can get that car checked up on angle because it looked like he did almost over-rotate in outside zone number 5 there. Have to clean that up going into battles.
Yeah, and that is something that will come back to bite you, especially with somebody on your door. That pressure will get to you, and with as many people as that last outside zone has bitten, you got to get around it.
So we wait for the next driver to get up to the line here. For those of you in chat, I did order that pizza. Pizza is on the way.
For those of you that are in chat, we're going to get to know our hosts a little bit more. As we have Damian Rosario pulling up to the line in his RTR Mustang from Team Hashira.
And as we see Damian coming to the line, I feel like it's almost necessary just to mention, of course, the fight for Dre, a very, very good cause for anybody who is in the sim drifting or drifting community in general. You'll see it on the side of the Mustang here. Hashtag do it for Dre. We're all praying for Dre, hoping that everything works out over there.
As he comes through the start chicane, putting down a big flick initiation, hitting that inside clip and really working it out into outside zone 1, leaving a little early in outside 1 and 2, missing outside zone 3 and center punching that cone on inside clip 2. Riding the edge of outside 4, punching inside clip 3 as well, and barely filling outside zone 5, wrapping it around with big angle, and just leaving that zone early for a 37.6.
Yeah, this is definitely not the kind of run that we would have expected from Damian Rosario here, so hopefully he'll be able to clean that up for the second half of his qualifying attempt here. We know that he's capable of it. We've seen it before. See what he's able to do when he brings it back to the line, and here he comes. Definitely an interesting chassis choice. I did not expect the Mustang out of him, so hopefully we'll see him put down a good run on the second try here as he makes his way through that start chicane. Around the cones, and away he goes. Naps it into initiation. Nice little bit of handbrake, but does unfortunately punch that inside clip. And oh, unfortunately, Damian is going to shut it down, put it behind the wall, and back to the pits. So unfortunately, Damian shutting down that run. That is going to be a 0 for the second run, leaving him to his first score that I don't remember off the top of my head. So we're going to wait for the graph to pop up because that will have that on it.
I believe it was a 59.
Wait and see here. Looks like they are going to go ahead and slot that in momentarily.
And I really wanted to see him in battle.
Well, luckily, we are getting down the list enough that I think there's a chance with a 59, you might be safe, unless every single one of these next drivers ends up putting down a better run than you. Because when we look at the board right now, the Looks like there is a 19.41, a 32.39. There's a lot of scores that are below that 59.
That 59 will get him dropped right in at 15th place in qualifying so far.
Oh, and it looks like it's a 37.68, so definitely not safe. It was not a 59, so I believe you were thinking back to Andrew Yearwood there, because it is a 37.7 for Damien.
I certainly was, but that still does drop him within the top 32 of all of the drivers we have sent so far.
For now. And speaking of drivers getting ready to go into the 32 here, one that I'm hoping to get in, coming up to the line here, is Ryland Billington, one of my drivers over at Kinetic Esports. Very hopeful for this. He's one of our newest prospects. This is the first time that he's competed under our name. So we're very excited to see what he puts down here at the ESDA Spring Open.
And that is a beautifully done 360 or 370Z that he has. Nice and tastefully done as he fires through the start chicane. Big flick initiation, just hanging it out there. Hits that first inside clip, wrapping it out all the way to the course's edge in outside zone 1 and 2. Pushing it back to outside zone 3, really putting his bumper in harm's way out here, just pushing all the way through all of these zones, really hanging it out there. Hits outside zone 5 and wraps it around into 6, putting it right on the wall, just wrapping it around for a 75.9.
Absolutely, as a team owner, love to see that go down. Very good first run to come out here and put on the board. I think that's a very safe score to have going into the 32. But I know this kid. I've seen him do better already before he was even on our team, and I know that he's got it in him here. Hopefully he'll come out for the second run and throw down even harder. He was back to the line in that 370Z, rocking Kinetic Esports as that primary sponsor. One of the few drivers I didn't have to paint the car for on our team, which I absolutely love, is he initiates in with this beautiful car. Very nice, snappy initiation. Perfect on the first inside clip. Now running it out to outside zone number 1. Unfortunately, dropping a tire there, but does correct it towards outside zone number 2. Keeps it in that zone. They're a little bit late there going in outside zone 3 and could have been a little bit deeper at the start. Now grabs inside clip 2. Almost perfect on outside zone number 4. Grabbing inside clip 3 perfect as well. Wraps around outside zone number 5, a little bit off of the line, but that's all right as he comes into the wall here. And unfortunately for Ryland, going to be going into the wall there, which is going to put a 0 on the board. However, that 0 not going to be enough to outweigh that 75.96 that was put on the board previously. So hopefully a safe score. 76, sorry, let me correct myself. 76 there on the board for Ryland Billington.
Yeah, you said 75, and then he threw down a 360, and it got bumped up a little bit.
Yes, that's exactly what he needs to do, and he knows it.
And he was comfortable in that run. He was absolutely killing the inside clips.
Yeah, he's been getting very comfortable in the car, getting ready for this particular event here. And another driver who I believe has been putting in a bit of effort to get ready for this is Tristan Williams in the 180SX.
AKA Velo in his 180SX. I cannot... This is going to be an interesting one because the 180, anytime I see a 180 in competition, they are either putting down a tire fire or they are putting out a tire fire. Either way, they're burning something up. So we will see if he is able to hold it together just enough to keep it up there. And who knows, we might have a new top qualifier with this one as he fires through the start chicane. Little bit of a manji initiation, handbrake drag, midline through that inside clip, and a little bit of wavering to get out to outside zone 1, but fills it fully, and 2. Coming in at 3, right on that inside line. He could have been deeper in 3, but he hits that inside clip, filling 4, leaving it a little bit early, hitting the inside clip 3 very well, filling outside zone 5, wrapping it around, almost washed out there, and barely holds that inside or that outside tire into that last outside zone for a 56.99.
Seeing a lot of those 50 scores on the board here. So hopefully, second run, possibly make it a little bit better. I think Faust, again, with the commentator's curse, trying to hype him up there, talking about a potential new top qualifier. The commentator curse strikes again. So maybe, if we don't say it, we might see something here on the second run. This goes for that nice flick initiation again here. Still shallow on that first inside clip, but does bring it all the way out through outside zone number 1, transitioning through to outside zone 2. Could have been a little bit deeper there. And same deal on outside zone 3, could be deeper, but does pick up inside clip 2 pretty much perfectly. Outside zone 4 came in a little bit late, left a little early. Inside clip 3 on that second hash mark, getting majority of outside zone number 5 as he brings it around for the wall zone here. Number 6, hopefully not another victim to the wall as he does cross the line. And it is a better score this time with an 82.3 on the board for Mr. Tristan Vilo.
The sleepy eyes on his car had him a little bit too lax on that first run, and the second one really woke him up.
The scores are going a little bit crazy there on the graphic, but there we go. There it is. There's the 82.3.
And he was doing his thing. I can respect a good 180SX coming out and putting down a heater of a line.
Absolutely. And speaking about line, I believe we are going to go ahead and get into our next group here. So we'll cut back to another commercial here, let you guys get a little bit of an explanation of the Drift League software once again. And we will be back as soon as we have the next group loaded in.
All right, welcome to Drift League. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how qualifying works. Let's start with staging. You're going to pull into the lead staging box, and all 4 tires need to be inside it. Once you come to a complete stop, a 2-second staging timer starts. After that, you'll get a 3, 2, 1, go. On go, you've got 10 seconds to initiate your drift, so don't stall at the line. If you take off before go, you get reset. Do that 3 times? Congrats, you just earned yourself a 0. During initiation, do not cross the center line. You need to cross that first cone at full angle. Once you do, your run officially starts being scored. You begin with 100 points, and from there, everything is about not losing them. This isn't a rack-up point system. It's about driving clean enough to protect your score. Next up, line. Follow the darker skid marks on the track. That's your ideal line, and this is measured from the center of your rear axle. If you drift off that line, you're losing points. Simple as that. Speed is exactly what it sounds like. There's a target speed you need to hit to avoid deductions. Go too slow, you're getting penalized. There are also lower speed zones where the expected speed changes. Angle is huge. It's based on how sideways your car is compared to where it's actually moving. You want consistent, high angle the entire run. If your angle is shaky or you're constantly correcting, those are called corrections, and they'll chip away at your score pretty fast. Now let's talk inner clips. These are scored using your trailing front tire. You want that tire placed between the first and second line for maximum score. Those cones you see, they're just a reference. Don't rely on them. Figure this out early in practice, or your runs are going to suffer later. Outer zones are scored using your leading rear tire. You want to push that tire as deep into the zone as possible, without going outside the yellow boundary. And just so it's clear, track edge does not count as a zone. If you drop tires off track, even if it looks like you're filling the zone, it'll only count as about a third. The boxes will turn yellow, representing your other not judged tire. For wall zones, it's about how deep your car collider gets into the zone. You don't need to be scraping the wall. There's about 10 inches of wiggle room for full score. Now, tire drops. If you drop 1 tire off track, that's a deduction. 2 tires, double deduction. 3 tires off at once, that's a 0. Speaking of zeros, here's what will completely kill your run. spinning or throwing a backy, that's 98 plus degrees, straightening your car, switching drift direction outside of a transition zone, or stacking so many deductions your score becomes unchaseable. When you reach the finish line, stay sideways. You need to cross it at an angle. Don't straighten early or you'll lose points right at the end. One last thing. This scoring system is still being developed and refined. We're collecting data and improving accuracy with every run we watch. So treat this as both a competition and a test. If something feels off, save the run, report it, and give us details. The goal is simple. Make this system as fair, consistent, and competitive as possible. That's it for qualifying. Now go out there, hit your zones, hold your angle, and don't zero your run in the first corner. Good luck. Welcome to Drift League. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how qualifying works. Let's start with
And with that, welcome back to this round of ESDA Open, as we have Marcel Ralzal to the line from Team X3 Autosports. He is in his S15 and looks like he is ready to party. As he goes in a little bit of a timid initiation. He was on the e-brake for most of that, pulls all the way through, hits outside 1, misses most of outside zone 2, but fills outside zone 3, missing inside clip 2, drops a tire in outside 4, barely on the hash marks for inside clip 3 as he wraps it around, filling all of outside zone 5, and putting it on the wall, wavering a lot in that last outside zone, trying to keep it in there, but he holds it together for a 46.38. As we get him re-racked up back at the line and ready to party. Looks like he's warming up his tires a little bit. He said they were a little bit too cold for that first run for his liking. And we get him back to the line, staged up and ready to go. A little bit more comfortable on that initiation, but misses the entirety of inside clip 1, dropping a tire in outside clip 1, and just shuts it down. It looks like that first score is going to be what Lazar has to live with. Will it be enough to get him into the show over all of these other drivers? As we have our next driver, Darren Bass, pulling up to the line. That car is relatively nice looking, but we're going to see if he looks even better in motion as we've got him staged up and ready to board. He is from Team Unknown. Oh, he is back to the pit. But we have Darian Bass in Team Unknown's S15. Pulling back up to the line, looking like he's ready to rock. And he makes it off of the line clean this time through the start chicane. Really fine, going for a big clip. Hits that inside clip pretty well, but has a big bobble trying to get out to outside zone 1. Fills 1 and 2. All of 3. Little shallow on that inside clip 2, but fills all of outside zone 4. Hits the inside clip 3 with a center punch and gets into outside 5 a little late, but wraps it back around and pushes it out to the wall. Able to get both wheels into the box, but could not hold it for a 56.5 point. As we wrap him back around, re-rack him, re-tap him, and send him back to the line for his second run of qualifying.
All right, test. I think we're good. Yep, we're back. Okay. All right.
There you are.
Yeah, had a little bit of a mic issue there. Not really sure why it decided it wanted to stop working in the middle of that, but we're back. We're making it happen. We got him back to the line. He's staged up. He's ready to go. After that start chicane. Initiates in that S15 Sylvia. Very nice on that first inside clip as he wraps it around to outside zone number 1. Filling majority of that zone there. Transition through to 2. Again, filling majority of that. Almost perfect. Same deal with outside zone number 3. Keeping it rolling. Grabs inside clip number 2 perfectly. Outside zone 4, grabbing most of that. And inside clip number 3. Outside zone 5 could have been in a little bit earlier as we bring it out to the wall here to end off this run. And holding the car all the way. Oh, and unfortunately, he does grab the wall at the end there. And that is going to cause him to crash. I'm not sure if that's going to hold a score. We might see that one 0 out. We'll have to see what they say about it behind the scenes.
But he was moving. He looked a lot more comfortable on that second run than he did on his first.
That is for sure.
Those inside were textbook. He did not hold back, managed to put it right exactly where it was supposed to be on both runs. And it looks like that second run was judged at a 71.7, which will be his score for qualifying. Big improvement from his first run. We're hoping to see more runs, more style, more angle than anybody thought possible for today. As we have Hunter Landis from Anger Management 101 in his RTR Mustang pulling up to the line.
Well, hopefully you can keep that anger all back here.
No, he was on top of somebody else's car like his name was Matt Field. Or not Matt Field. Matt Field was the one that got climbed. Dylan the Dozer. As he comes through that start chicane, sounding real aggressive, like he has something to prove. Big flick, misses that inside clip, but manages to hold the angle, puts that one tire in the outside zone, misses outside zone 2, barely gets into 3, barely hits that inside clip 2, but really pulls it together for outside zone 4 and inside clip 3, putting it where it's supposed to be. Little too deep in that, or going into that last outside zone, had to check himself up and miss the entirety of the last outside zone, but he got it with a 38.9. He can definitely do better than that.
Yeah, we'll have to see him try to be a little bit more aggressive on the run here, try to get out to those outside zones. That's very clearly the weak point on that run.
Just from looking at his initiation, it looked like he was just a hair later than he'd normally be on that drop-in. As we get him back to the line and ready for his second qualifier.
And here we go, ready to go out through that start chicane in that RTR Mustang. Sends it on in through the initiation, misses that first inside clip. Trying to bring it out to that outside zone and somehow misses majority of that as well. Fully misses outside zone number 2. just barely putting the tires on any of these zones. Does pick up inside clip number 2 and does pick up a bit of that outside zone. Misses inside clip 3, though. Gets a good bit of outside zone 5. We'll see what he does at the wall here. And unfortunately, yep, there it is. He's going to go into the wall, and that is going to unfortunately zero his run out.
And he was so close to glory.
So close, but so far.
Just like my grandpappy used to always say, the only thing that close counts for is horseshoes and hand grenades.
As we wait for the next driver to get up to the line here,
we are going to go back to a conversation from earlier. Leo Bellario from Team Vertex will be coming up in his 400Z. But we would like to, once again, make sure that everybody is having a good time, make sure that everybody is enjoying themselves. And once again, we wanted to tell everybody, make sure that whatever you do, you are doing it for Dre today. As we have Lee coming through the start chicane. Low rolling on the initiation, but really loading the car up. Misses a little bit of that inside clip and half of outside zone 1, but gets into outside zone 2 and 3. Filling it. Just barely hits that cone on inside clip 2, pushing it out, trying to get into outside 4. Misses inside clip 3, but barely gets into outside zone 4 as he comes into the wall, really pushing, trying to put that bumper on the wall, just wraps it around for 54.89. Never mind, it's 50 because he missed his 360.
in my books, that's a 0.
You're right. He didn't even make it halfway around.
Thank God I'm not the judge.
As we get him tacked up back to the line, ready to go. I'm sure most of you might have seen already. If not, make sure that you guys check down into the comment section and into the chat because there is an Instagram posted. And on that Instagram, there will be a link to help out with Dre's treatment.
Here we go. Lee going for the second run here, that 400Z. Initiates in way off of line, going right out of the initiation here. Gonna have to reel it back in as he does so for outside zone number 1. Picks up outside zone number 2 pretty good. However, does miss quite a bit of outside zone 3 in terms of how shallow he was. Missing inside clip number 2. Gets a bit of outside zone 4. Could have been deeper as he looks like just not getting inside clip 3 perfectly there. Could have been a little bit deeper in 5 as he brings it out to the wall here. We'll see what he does. A lot of wavering on angle there. Definitely not what you want to see. That's going to bring him in at a 38.11.
It'll be interesting to see what the lowest score that actually makes it into the show is.
That'll be a high score of 54.9 for Lee Gallardo.
As we get our next driver, Dominic, to the line in his S15 with the big wing on the back. No, that's not an S15. That is a GTR.
That was a big mix-up.
That makes this 10 times cooler. Let's see if he can hold it together. On the way through the start chicane, he is coming, really bouncing off the limiter, putting it all out there. Big flick initiation, gets into that first inside clip, misses it, but wraps it all the way out to the course's edge and outside 1 and 2. Pushing into outside zone 3, really working the edge of this course. Hits inside clip number 2, pushing onto the outside zone 4, hits inside clip 3 and rides both tires in outside zone 5, wrapping it back around into that last outside zone, really dragging the wall, putting the wing over it for a 75.71. He wanted some excitement on the course when he went out there because that was stylish.
Yeah, definitely could have been a little bit faster around the course. Not the fastest run that we've seen. But the line and angle, very nicely done on that, as well as the zone depth. Just needs to pick up a little bit of speed because it was a pretty slow run. See what he does here for the second run to try to correct that error. He goes through those cones. R34 GTR, I believe the only one we're seeing today, initiates in. Second hash mark on that inside clip. Now bringing it out to that first outside zone. Does drop a little bit of tire over the side of it. That's all right. Reels back in for outside zone 2. Outside zone 3, almost perfect. Just has to get there a little earlier, and he does grab inside clip number 2 all the way. As he goes through inside clip number 3, also perfect on that one. Now bringing it out to 5. Same deal as we saw with 3 there. See what he does for the wall. Very nice, very stable all the way through, fully filling that zone. He's going to cross the line with a 75.29.
He is, as the kids call it nowadays, one of those flip demons. Because that was saucier than barbecue sauce, and he came out there to party. I like how he did that last zone in both qualifiers. Hanging the wing over the wall, just playing no game, saying, I've got this, and I'm going to showcase it to everyone. That was a textbook last outside zone, as we have Dalton Frazier from Team RSHQ in his JZX 100 pulling up to the line. There seems to be a little bit of confusion with who we're sending next, but we've got this all in the bag and all sorted out now. It looks like Dalton is pulling up to the line.
Slowly making his way.
Just making his way downtown, walking a little fast as he comes through that start chicane. Big flick initiation from the big body on that, right in between the first and second half, right where he's supposed to be, really filling that second half of first outside zone. Little shallow through the second and third outside zones, but he was both tires in. Far off the inside clip, but he wraps it around to really fill the most in outside zone 4 and 5, hitting inside clip 3, wrapping it around for the finale on the wall with that big body, just dragging for a 72.9. And if he can get a little bit more angle out of that car, he will be a weapon.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of work to do here, but still a very good score to start with. See if he can improve it on the second run as he initiates in the big body. Not getting as close to that inside clip as the first run, but he is going to bring it all the way out through that outside zone. Transitions through, could have been way deeper on outside zone 2, almost missing it. Big angle going through 3 there. That is going to cause him to miss the second inside clip, as he does fill a good bit of outside zone number 4 with a couple of issues on line. Grabs inside clip number 3. Still a little bit shallow on outside zone 5, though. See what he does on the wall here. Unfortunately, this is not going to improve his score. However, oh, and there it is. He goes into the wall. Unfortunately, not how you want to end out that run, but you do still have a very good score to start you with.
And a lot of these drivers seem to be coming off of throttle a lot when they are in their transitions. Like completely dead throttle on transitions and then picking it back up instead of transitioning on throttle. And it'll be interesting to see how that affects the chase driver when it comes time for battles. Now for our next installment of Getting to Know Your Commentator. Senor Strep, I have a question.
Of course.
As we have Kyle pull into the line, what is one of your favorite pump cars to drive after this battle? As we send Kyle off through the start chicane, really limiter heavy, big click initiation, right midline on that inside as he wraps it around, a little shallow in that first outside zone, but fills all of the second outside zone, barely in the third outside zone, almost missed it as he hits the inside clip, comes out of outside door a little too early, throwing him offline and center punching that inside number 3. Pulls in through 5, and oh my goodness, it's Adam LZ, kids.
Yeah, very unfortunate there for Kyle, aka Hoaxy. We talked about our partner before, OGP Oversteer Grand Prix. Hoax, the owner of X3, which runs OGP, the guy who I directly work for over there. He did say coming into this that he was going to put a 20 on the board. So far, a 0. So let me get this wall ride here and see if he can put down that 20-point run for us, or better. Hopefully, he puts down better. As he initiates in that Nissan Silvia S14, perfectly grabs that first inside clip, now bringing it out to outside zone number 1. Transitioning through to outside zone number 2, pretty good proximity on there, could have been slightly deeper, but outside zone number 3 does barely get in, although almost misses it. Perfectly grabbing inside clip number 2, and now outside zone number 4, good coverage there as well. Does center punch inside clip 3, but that's alright, he does grab 5. Now transitioning through for the last time out to the wall ride. Let me get this wall ride here. Bringing it around town and across the line, does get a score on the board of a 58.22. And there it is. Gets the 360, nails it. He knew what I'm looking for. Good job, Kyle. That's what I'm talking about.
And it's always good to see the boys doing good. He
a little bit higher than the 20 that we were promised.
So does that mean that he owes us both $30 for that, for being over?
I already don't get paid at OGP, so no, he don't owe us nothing. He gave us the 360. The 360 is good enough to pay up for that. That's a great run.
That it was $1 for every point over 20 he gets. And apparently he was supposed to be donating his $30 to my wallet.
Yeah, maybe we can, maybe instead of that, we can get him to donate over to Do It For Dre. The Share guys helping out a bunch to promote that, which if you guys didn't see it already, it is somewhere in the chat. There is a donation link in there that you can go to, throw some money their way, help them with the fight for Dre, fighting that lymphoma cancer. As we go over to Khalil now, pulling up to the line.
And yet another big body. These guys in the big bodies today have been putting on a show. Let's see if can keep it going. As he pulls into the staging lane, ready to go. And we're sending him off through the start chicane. Not really on limiter, but he is coming with some big, no handbrake. Ballsy play, but he really wraps it around in through outside zone 2 and 3 with big angle, no less. He pulls it in, hit inside clip 2, just picking up 4 as he hits inside clip 3, wrapping it around into outside, taps that cone on the start of the zone. But I like it, and he wraps it around into that last outside zone, really putting the lack of bumper on the wall and showcasing how much car he's really swinging around for 73.8.
Not a bad run at all there.
And Khalil is another
a little bit better. That's all right.
Khalil is another one of those drivers that we see a lot in a lot of different competitions.
Yeah, as a commentator over in OGP, I've said the name Khalil quite a many times, representing the End of Days guys as he brings it through that start chicane, going for a nice wild entry here. Not as wild as before, but that's all right. He does unfortunately go a little bit past that first inside clip. Now bringing out the outside zone number 1. Good coverage there. Almost perfect through outside zone number 2. Just a little bit late on the entry to it. Same deal with outer zone 3. Perfectly picks up inside clip number 2. Grabbing most of outside zone number 4 on the way and does unfortunately exceed inside clip 3. But he recovers very nicely through 5 as he brings it out. Major angle. Gonna have to correct that. Coming out to the wall, and that's going to majorly hurt that score. But he does cross the line with a 71.84, and there he goes. He knows what he needs to do to get glazed by me. King Khalil putting down the 360 to end off that run.
Leo out here more glazed up than a honey bun.
Wild statement.
Hey, that was a nice that was a wild 360. I'm sorry.
It was a pretty good 360.
I just had to like throw a little bit of extra icing out there, man. He earned it.
That he did, and I believe that is going to round out our qualifying. So we'll go ahead, get the score list updated here and see where we are sitting at right now. That is going to fill the 32. 32 will be filled with scored runs. Very curious to see. Oh, wait, no. Looks like possibly we do have another last-minute entry here for Mohammed Sharif.
Oh, he came!
A little bit late to the party, but it is better to be late than never.
And it's looking like this is going to shape up to be a strong set of battles. So far, Advenus is still in the lead with a 90.33, the only 90 score of the day. Followed by Colin, who has an 85. And Yuna Tavalinen with an 84. And from the soundings of it, this will be our last set of qualifying runs for the day before we take our little break and let everybody refresh before top 32. But we have Mohammed Sharif and his A90 pulling around to the line. And whilst we wait, back to the question from earlier. But what is your favorite competition car to drive amongst any pack? For me personally, in case anybody is curious, one of my favorite cars to drive is the BDC Mustang, followed by the BDC V6 Mustang. A lot of people do not, that is an unpopular opinion because a lot of people do not like the BDC V6 cars. It is an interesting set of physics to get used to, but once you get used to it, it is a beautiful car to drive, and you can kind of just put it where you need to, and it does everything you could hope and dream of. As Mohammed Sharif pulls to the line, we are going to see our last battle of qualifying. Mohammed in the burnout box, warming up his tires, getting ready to go. Looks like he is nice, warm, and toasty. Let's see if the nerves are going to get him or if he is going to come out and put on a show. As we're sending him to start chicane now. Chain launch. Big flick initiation as he is a little that inside clip, but still picks it up, filling all of that outside zone 1 and 2. Getting in real early for outside zone 3, but coming out a little shallow. Hits that inside clip nice and right, following all the way through outside zone 4. Tracing that line nice through outside zone 5, hitting inside clip 3, and then coming around into the wall. Little shot, but he is together across the line for a 63-63. That, my friends, is a great number to have. Just enough to get you in the show so far. So that means on his second run, he can come out and party, throw caution to the wind, and try and put down some big angles, some big style, and just show off. For sure, you know you're the last one for the qualifying, so really come out and put on the show for the crowd. Warming up his tires again, pulling up to the line. He looks like he is ready to go, ready to party, ready to really come out and show off. As he comes through the start chicane again for that last battle of qualifiers, throws out a relatively tame clip, but picks up all of that first inside clip, really riding out outside zone 1 and 2, coming in for a nice transition into 3, filling it a little shy of angle, but he is filling those zones a little far off of inside clip 2, but hits all of outside zone 4 and inside clip 3, coming into 5 and 6. He hits 5 and is really hugging that wall on outside zone 6 for an 80.2. Little bit of a controlled response to that first run, but he came out and improved his. He was in his head. Everybody else is playing checkers. He's out here playing chess, practicing like how he plays. He did his thing quite well. As the drop down shows up, he got an 80.2, improving from his first run by quite a margin. Mohammed Sharif a little late to the party, but he is still here. Managed to make it before qualifying ended and put up a heater on it.
And at the end of the day, sorry about that, did have to run out, but at the end of the day, if you make it and you put down a run, you put down a score, sometimes it's all you need to do.
And he did not let the nerves get to him. He knew he had to put down a heater and came out and just did it.
So we take a look here now at the scoreboard to see what's going on. We'll wait for everything to pop up, everything to be finalized here. Nobody will be taking out Venus as your top qualifier. Venus will be taking that top spot with a 90.33, taking first position.
From the looks of it, your whole podium qualifiers, your top 3 all stayed the same.
Yeah, so taking second with an 85.11 is going to be Colleen Gabriel, followed by Yuna still with the 84.16. Justice following up in fourth with an 82.97. Tristan Williams with an 82.3. Zadrunas with a 80.46, taking sixth. Mohammed Sharif coming out late, but still putting it very high up there with an 80.22, taking seventh. Yunsheng Lao with the 78.62, going to be taking eighth. Rylan Billington taking the ninth step on the qualifying order with a 75.96. And to round out your top 10 is Dominic Corrali with a 75.71. And I believe that is going to be it for the qualifying here today.
We would like to thank you all for joining us for qualifying, as well as for those of you who come back to join us for top 32 later on this week.
Of course, shout out to all the sponsors: Gripped Up Mods, Vosan, SS Officially, AEU, the all-in-one power platform for your gaming tournaments. Rennspec down in Texas, the automotive performance studio. Next Level Racing, some of the top sim rigs in the business. You can source them over there. DnD Performance Interior, specializing in all sorts of your racing, automotive, off-road interior usages. Firman, with dual fuel and inverter generators, so you can take your power wherever you need to go, running your events, whether you're out at the track, whether you're out in the woods. Drift League providing us with the software that we're using here today to do all of the judging going on here. And of course, all of the partner series. So we're going to take a 45-minute break. We will be back with the top 32 at 1 p.m. Eastern time in 45 minutes from now. Thank you for tuning in.